Hello, this is Sherman Blackwell, and welcome to this week's program presented by Singing River Mental Health. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited about a lot of things that are going on this week in particular. We have our symposium, an opportunity to showcase our programs along with people that we work with in the community, and that's going to be this week. That's going to be this Thursday, the 14th of May. It's going to be at the Gaucher Convention Center, and it's going to be from 10 to 2. We've got some exciting speakers lined up with a lot of good information about what's happening with mental health locally, statewide, and across the nation. And there's a lot of things that are going on. And we are going to be there from 10 to 2 at the Gaucher Convention Center. That's of course, right next to the Gaucher Library, right off of the junior college campus there in Southern Miss campus. That's in Gaucher, right there. And Larry Swearingen is going to be our keynote speaker along with Mark Yeager. Dr. Yeager will be here, and he'll be talking to us about autism and some things along those lines, and some things that are happening with his program and what he's doing, and we're excited about that. We're also excited and very thankful for the Jackson County Board of Supervisors. Today, or this week, they did a proclamation announcing May as Children's Mental Health Month. And we certainly do appreciate each and every one of our supervisors and the support that they show for mental health in general, but in particular when it comes to our children, because children are some of our most important clients, and we appreciate them thinking enough to make a proclamation for the whole month of May to recognize children. Children are an integral part of our lives. They never really cease to be from the time that they're born. They are always a part of our lives. And then many people deal with children, grandchildren, and we have grandparents that are raising grandchildren, and children are always there, directly or indirectly involved in our lives, and we are attempting to raise awareness, the kinds of things that can happen for the good for children, because children need a lot of guidance. Sometimes they don't get all the guidance that they need. Sometimes they don't get all the help that they need. But we are here to raise that awareness and to let you know about those things. And we certainly appreciate the Board of Supervisors of Jackson County. And I should add, George County, they also did a proclamation too, and we appreciate them doing that very, very much. So excited about our upcoming symposium. I know some of you will probably say, well, I'll be glad when he's through talking about that, and that'll be this week, and that's the 14th, of course, and we're looking forward to that. By way of another exciting announcement, the week following symposium, not this week, but next week, we're going to open our West Jackson County office facility, and that's going to be in the St. Martin area, where we will house a psychiatrist and a therapist, see adults and children, and case managers, and we're excited about that. For years, Singing River had a station in West Jackson County, and we're glad to be able to get back into that vicinity. And of course, our time will be limited there at first, but look in the paper and we'll be talking about that next week as we have some of the people that will be in that office on the program and talking about those kinds of things. Is what our plan is right now to do that. And we'll be giving you the address. You need any information before then, you can call the number you see on the screen there. You can call that number and ask for Beth Finnick. Beth is our clinical director. She would be the person that you would want to talk to. She can give you the information about the opening of that office in the West Jackson County area, and we're looking forward to that. I want to take an opportunity to talk to you briefly here before the break about some of the programs that we have going, and I think it's just good from time to time to remind you of these kind of programs. We have some 45 different programs at this particular stage, and we're excited about that. A lot of community mental health centers are scaling back, and we are glad to be able to be one of those, especially in the state of Mississippi, that are expanding our services, because we think one thing that's important about going to West Jackson County is that transportation, of course, is a big issue for a lot of individuals that we serve, and for a lot of individuals in general. And so as many satellites as we can get, we hope to even expand off of that and have more. So because ease of accessibility and proximity of the services that we provide. There are some things that I think are important. And here again, I want to remind you, and we're talking about Children's Mental Health Awareness Month. Our Children and Adolescent program has several groups. We've got 4 groups right here that I'm going to talk about in particular. And of course, these are groups that focus on alcohol and drugs, anger management, self-esteem, and as well as parenting classes. In particular, the parenting class is something I'd like to talk to you about. It's Tuesdays, 5:15 to 6:15. It's at no cost to the public, no cost. Child care is available, and the curriculum that we use allows you to start at any time. So there's no cutoff period, say 6 weeks, or you got to wait. You can come into the program anytime and be involved in the parenting class, and we think that's very, very important. Maybe a young parent, maybe a parent that wants to hone your skills. Maybe, like as I said earlier, you may be raising grandchildren now or doing something different, and it never hurts to help get support and insight and have some reflection on parenting, because it's the most important thing. One of the most important things that we will ever do in our lives is to give our children the kind of leadership, the paradigm that they need to follow a healthy example. And many times the individuals that we focus on have parents, they'll have children with a mental health issue of some type, and so there's a little more that goes into that instruction that we think is very, very important. Some of the other groups that we have at our Children and Adolescent program is Adolescent Alcohol and Drug Group. That's on Mondays. We have that Mondays 3 to 5. We have an anger management group. Of course, we have this for adults, we have this for children, and that's very, very important. On the adult side, we strategize with adults to help them learn to manage anger, to appropriately express anger. Anger is a normal emotion. It can be a healthy emotion, but sometimes it's the emotion that kind of gets out of bounds, and so we help to look at alternative ways to deal with hostile attitudes. We talk about conflict resolution. We talk about being positively assertive and appropriately so, and how to think about preventing aggressive acts. And we talk about verbal abuse, and we talk about violence and those kinds of things, and what the kinds of things that you can channel that energy into something that is very positive. As I mentioned, we had the parenting class. We also have what we call our SEALS group, Self-Esteem and Life Skills group, and that's something that focuses on self-esteem building. Most children, most adolescents are looking to be accepted somewhere. And normally they will find a group or some body that will accept them. And we talk about building their own self-esteem. And we've got great instructors in this that help, and that's so very, very important to do. In the adult category, We have our active life group. That's Thursdays 1 to 3. Rosemarie Morton takes care of that for us. Enhanced ability for focuses on the elderly group and focusing on increasing their socialization and things along that line. We, of course, have our dual diagnosis group. Many times individuals with a mental illness will have a co-occurring substance abuse issue, and so we focus on that, and we have that dual diagnosis group. We, of course, our intensive outpatient program that is designed to allow people to fulfill their obligations to their job, to society, to their family, and at the same time obtaining an intensive treatment schedule for issues involving substance abuse. We have a tremendous continuum of care in our adult and our addiction services, with our children's services, not to leave out our developmentally disabled services and those kinds of programs that we have. And we'll be glad to put this information in your hands. We'll be glad to send you this. All you need to do, the number you see on the screen there, of course, is the mainline number to Singing River Services, and we'll be glad to give you any information. You may have some inquiries about a program that you have formerly seen, or something that you would like a guest or somebody to talk about in particular. We try to take a broad perspective and look at that. Several individuals have responded about having Dr. Yeager on the program and autism spectrum, and talking about those kinds of things, and other people that we continue to bring in and going to continue to bring in. Signe Shackelford, she was on the program, and many of you saw in her a great story of how mental illness is not the end all. That doesn't mean that your life is over. There are avenues, and there are ways, and there are support groups, and there are treatments to get individuals back to where they belong. We're going to break away here, and I want to remind you before the break that we do have our symposium. We're having it this coming Thursday, May the 14th, at the Gaucher Convention Center from 10 to 2. Special speakers, some special guests. We invite you as community members to come out, talk to a mental health expert, get some information. And Beth Finnick reminded me today that we're going to have door prizes, and we're going to be serving a light lunch, and we're going to have, it's just an opportunity to be transparent and just to talk about programs, get you some information about the kind of services that we offer, and not only us, but there are 20 different vendors that will be there as well, and talking about their programs and what they offer. And so we offer this to the community, and concerning mental health issues, and the number that you see on the screen there is available to you 24 hours a day. And when we come back after the break, we're going to have Deborah Brockway on the program. We're going to talk more about what she's doing in the community. Hello, this is Sherman Blackwell, and welcome to this week's program presented by Singing River Mental Health. Thank you for joining me today. It's a very exciting time of the year for us. May is Mental Health Month. It's designated Mental Health Month every year. It's an opportunity for us to raise awareness about mental health issues that cover the whole spectrum of services that we provide. Some nearly 40 programs now in Jackson and in George County, and have been doing that for some 35 plus years now. We are this month excited about a couple of things that are happening. One is Children's Mental Health Awareness Week, which is this week, the week that we're in, and we are so appreciative of many of our municipalities, our Board of Supervisors, and everyone that recognizes the significance of raising awareness for issues, particularly with children, because still it's acutely felt in probably every county across this nation. But we are in a particular group because we're still in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and we're approaching pretty rapidly our hurricane season for this year. And for some people, surprisingly enough, they are are beginning to talk about those kinds of things and kind of have some concerns about those issues. And so it's very important that we get plans and information and education out about not only children but Mental Health Awareness Month, where we talk about all of the programs and different things that we do at Singing River in Jackson and in George County. And let me remind you, of course, of the number that you see on the screen there. That number is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's our mainline number, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and serves as our crisis line number the remainder of the time. So we've got a quality staff ready to serve you. If you have any issues, any interrogatives, or need information about anything regarding mental health, we'd be glad to get you that information. My special guest today is Debbie Brockway. Debbie is the Regional Children's Director for Region 14. And welcome to the program, Debbie.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blackwell.
Glad
to be here.
Good. We're glad to have you. Debbie has been in this capacity now for a couple of months as the Regional Children's Coordinator, but has been at Singing River for 8 years now.
8 years.
8 years now. Tell our audience a little bit, Debbie, about what you did when you first came on board at Singing River and how you got to what you're doing now.
Okay. I first hired on with Singing River Services as an adult case manager. I worked there for several years while getting my master's degree. And I moved into children's services several years ago, working in day treatment services and with children and their families. And my heart just goes out to the children and their families, and I really enjoy working with that group of individuals. And
right, and that's been doing children now for a few years.
Right.
Yeah.
Several years.
Yeah, and recently, as you mentioned, you just earned your master's degree in
family and marriage counseling.
Okay. Well, that fits well with what you do. And you have kind of seen it from the ground up when you talk about case manager, being a case manager. And that means different things in different arenas. Describe what a case manager does for Singing River.
It's mainly supportive counseling for individuals and their families with mental illness, children with serious mental illness. They communicate with the families, with the teachers. It's an intensive case management services that helps these people stay within their community,
right.
And children stay in placements of home with children, with their families, and to keep people out of the hospitals.
Yeah, a lot, and they have to be pretty good resource people.
Right,
on,
right.
You know, getting a lot of information and doing that, and so I know that you did that, and now for George County, how many schools are we in, and what kind of programs do we run in those schools?
We're in all of the schools there except for two. We're in all of the schools. Individual therapy we have a therapist in all of our schools. We have 9 day treatment programs in our school systems there.
Right.
We day treatments in all of our schools except for 2.
Okay.
And
when you say day treatment, what is day treatment?
And it's intensive therapy for children with serious emotional disturbance. Mm-hmm. And they provide therapy for anger control, impulse control, social skills, those types of disorders in children.
Debbie, how does one come to be a part of our day treatment program? I mean, is that through school, parents, courts, or all of the above?
All of the above. We have parents that call and express their concerns for their child, and we have teachers that refer the children, as well as principals, youth court, just an array of people that are involved in that child's life usually make the referral.
Makes a referral. Yeah, and what happens when you get a referral, a child, their parents, or their custodial person, whoever that may be? What's the process?
They get an appointment, we do an intake, we assess that child to see what type services that child may need. If they need case management, day treatment, individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy, it's just according to what that child, the situation it's individualized.
Right, yeah.
And we determine at that point what the child needs, and we move forward from that point.
I know you and I have a fundamental agreement on things, and some of our, I guess, educational background, and we've talked about this, about the historical process or systemic process through which a child may come. A lot of things these days, well, you said it earlier today, you were talking, people used to well, these kids, they're just bad. People say, well, they're bad, but they're not bad.
Right.
They have a malady. They may have there may be a historical component about that, a genetic component, there may be a socialized reinforcement about that. So it's paramount that we do a good discovery job to see what may be the precursors to a child's behavioral issues.
Right, right.
So,
right.
And that's very, very, very important to do. And so there are so many good treatment modalities, so many good therapies, and good medications these days.
Right.
I know our psychiatrist for George County, Dr. Hassel's a very competent person, and I know Dr. Davis and Dr. Barnes here in Jackson County, that they're very hesitant they're real cautious about putting a child on medication until they can get a good history.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very important to do. Your new position now, and that's one reason I've had Debbie on the program today, is to introduce her to the community south of George County, Jackson County.
Right.
And Debbie will be in the community and has been for a couple of months, but there's some housekeeping issues that you've had to do and going to continue to have to do.
Right.
But your goal for Jackson County is, tell us a little bit about day treatment and the things that are going on in Jackson County and what exactly you want to do.
Okay. Starting June the 1st in Jackson and George County, we have summer day treatment. It will run from July the 1st in June the 1st in Jackson County, and it will run 8 weeks, Monday through Friday, 9 to 2. We transport the children to and from their homes, back to their homes. We also run the same type day treatment program in George County. We have 9 programs there as well. We provide transportation, and those times are from 9 to 2 each day, Monday through Friday.
And day treatment here again, what happens? Some of these children, individuals, are already in a day treatment program, maybe an after-school program, and so this kind of is a continuation in the summer?
It is. It's a continuation, and it's more intensive.
More intensive, okay.
During the summer, yes.
How so? What happens in a day treatment classroom?
Each child has certain target goals that they're working on, target behaviors that we're going to work on.
Okay.
And that is done in a group setting, and children learn from their peers. And it's done in a group setting, and it's more intensive, and we focus more on each one of those individual goals for those children.
And I know the curricula is pretty much a science-based curriculum that is a lot of places throughout not only this state but throughout the nation.
Right.
Yeah. My special guest today is Debbie Blackwell. Debbie is a regional children's coordinator for Jackson and George County, and she has been with Singing River for 8 years now, and we got her down. We stole her from George County, so to speak. No, we really didn't. Carla Brooks would, she wouldn't like that if I said that. But you're here a couple of 3 days a week?
Yes.
Okay, so you're really getting focused. And so I've had her on today and to introduce her to the community and by this media. And we're going to have Debbie on from time to time to talk about maybe at the end of the summer, look at the day treatment program and how we're kind of getting revved up for school, because that's real critical. There's not much interlapping, is there, between?
There are a couple of weeks interlapping. That's about it.
Well, that's some interesting stuff. This week is Children's Mental Health Awareness Week, and when we come back, we're going to talk about these green ribbons that we have on and what they represent, and give you some data about children in the state of Mississippi. And then we're going to talk about some other upcoming events like our symposium and some other things that we're going to be doing to raise awareness for mental health issues in Mental Health Month, the month of May this year. So after we cut away and take these short break, we'll be right back.